Hey guys, it's Emily here, and today I'm going to share with you my very first mobile app design. I've been taking the Google UX design course for the last few months and I'm really enjoying it, which is why I really want to share this with you. So I'm not a UI designer. The reason why I wanted to take this course is because I actually wanted to, expand my skills as a researcher. I wanted to be able to, go from the very start where you're talking to users and you're getting ideas from them, you're coming up with possible solutions, and then I wanted to be able to have that design skill where I can actually start sketching out possible ideas and then prototyping it and then going back and doing some usability testing with some users and getting that initial feedback. So really this course was a way for me to get the practical skills, the visual skills in order to be a better UX researcher. So I'm going to share with you my user research, how I sketched out some ideas, and then the prototypes, and then my usability testing findings. And then finally I will go through my recommendations. So I hope that this video will be helpful to anybody who is considering doing the Google UX design course. I personally really enjoyed it, and yeah, let's get started and show you everything. So I designed a sushi app that allows users to customize their sushi and remove allergens. So I conducted some interviews with people who regularly went to sushi restaurants, and as this was a generative research, I didn't have any assumptions or any preconceived ideas going into it. So here are the 4 people that I interviewed. They were all friends and family, and I'm really grateful that they took part in this project and shared their thoughts with me. I asked them questions about the last time they ate sushi, what they liked about it, and if they had any challenges when it came to ordering sushi in a restaurant or at home using a food delivery app. So I found 4 main pain points in my user research. The first pain point was that users were sometimes confused with ingredients. This was particularly the case for sushi restaurants because there's usually like exotic fish or some kind of exotic ingredient that they're not familiar with, and there just isn't that explanation there for them, so that can cause a little bit of confusion for some customers. So the second pain point is that there are dietary requirements that some users have, and the restaurant experience or the food delivery app experience is not quite meeting their needs. So there are 8 allergens, including lactose intolerance, gluten, nuts, fish, shellfish, and sometimes the restaurant or the app is not able to remove those allergens from the customer's meal, or maybe they cannot be certain of it. So this can cause a lot of anxiety for some users. So I have one example of one user who told me that she brings her own gluten-free soy sauce to sushi restaurants, and that's because she believes that the restaurant is not going to have it there for her. So this was a really good example of a pain point that users experience. The third pain point is that users can't book a specific table and they cannot order their food ahead of time as well. So one user mentioned something that I thought was quite interesting. He said that when he goes out for sushi with a bunch of his friends, everybody arrives at different times, and that makes it really tricky when you want to make that group order and you want everything to come out at the same time. So the fourth pain point is around the user's expectations. Sometimes when the sushi arrives to their table, it's not quite what they imagined or what they expected based on the description in the menu. So that's another pain point for some users. So now I'm going to show you a user empathy map, and this empathy map was based on my friend, and she is an artist and she loves sushi a lot, and she orders sushi to her home and she shares it with her partner. She also has a gluten-free diet, and so I'm going to run you through the empathy map for her right now. So let's start with what she thinks. So she thinks that most of the sushi menu will be gluten-free. She thinks that Deliveroo is good for filtering gluten-free, but Uber Eats isn't. She thinks that getting the best value can be done when you're in a sushi restaurant, so you will order the high value ingredients, stuff like the expensive fish. So how does she feel? She's worried if the maki was just tuna, because in her experience the tuna is kind of a hit and miss. She feels frustrated that you can't get specific gluten-free menus sometimes. She feels surprised that sometimes sushi menus are well labelled for gluten-free restaurants. For gluten-free diets, I mean. She feels disappointed that sometimes she cannot see the sushi that she's going to get. And then she feels guilty that she eats sushi so often. I mean, I think that a lot of people share that guilt. It's not guilt. So what does she do? She brings gluten-free soy sauce to sushi restaurants with her. And I guess that's a sign for sushi restaurants to start buying gluten-free soy sauce for their customers, right? What else does she do? So she goes to all-you-can-eat sushi with her partner very often, and she orders high-value sushi items at the all-you-can-eat sushi. I think that's a very, very smart thing to do. And she also buys sushi on food delivery apps like Deliveroo, like every 1.5 weeks. So she is a sushi lover. So what does she say? She says, I won't be getting anything that has tempura or teriyaki sauce in it. And that makes a lot of sense because those two have gluten in them, so that's why she avoids that. And she also says, that's why I like sushi. Most of the time it's mostly gluten-free. So that's really cool. And then finally she says, it would be great if I could pick each individual thing. So she's referring to the maki. So sometimes they're like a 4-set maki, and like it might be like 2 of something, 2 of another thing. So she wants to specify exactly what is in the maki. So it could be like cucumber maki or avocado maki. She would like to specify rather than have it be a surprise when it shows up at her door. So that is the first user empathy map. Now that I have some user pain points and I've come up with some empathy maps, I can now start defining the problem and coming up with some solutions in my app. So I wanted to focus on the dietary requirement pain point for my app because 2 million people in the UK have a food allergy and even more people have food intolerances. If I can create a solution that allows these users to enjoy eating out in restaurants or ordering in, it would make a huge difference to their lives. The problem statement helps me to define the problem in a user's life. For example, Janet is an artist who is a sushi lover and she wants gluten to be removed from every sushi that she orders so she can enjoy a gluten-free meal with the peace of mind knowing that there is no gluten present in her meal. Now we move on to forming goal statements. This helps me to summarize how my solution will solve the user's need to order food without specific allergens present. So for my goal statement, my goal is to create a sushi app that will allow users to remove allergens and ingredients from their meals and customize their sushi with their own chosen ingredients. This would help users with dietary needs by giving them the autonomy to customize their sushi to suit their requirements, and also saving them time asking service staff to have allergens removed. So now I'm going to run through exactly how the Sushi app works. So the user would open up their Sushi app, they will browse the sushi in the menu, and then they might come across something that they like and that they want to order. So they will select that specific sushi or that dish, and then they would read the ingredients, see if they like it, and maybe there's something that they cannot have, like maybe they can't have sour cream, for example, and it's in that sushi. So it's okay. You can select that allergen. So you can say, no, I don't want lactose, and then it's removed. Done. So now the user adds the sushi to their cart, and then they can submit their order. So that's essentially how my app would work. So let's take a look at how a user might use my app in their day-to-day life. So I have a fictional character here. Her name is Mariah. She goes to a sushi restaurant with her colleagues. And by the way, this fictional character is based on one of the people that I interviewed. But for confidentiality, I'm just calling her Mariah. So Mariah goes to a sushi restaurant with her colleagues, and she looks at the menu and conveyor belt. Then, she sees something that she likes. However, oh no, it has sour cream in it. Dairy ruins a lot of things. So she wants to order quickly, and she feels a bit anxious to order to be all nitpicky with the waiter. So she opens up the Sushi app in the restaurant. You can do this as well. And she finds the sushi that she liked, the one with the sour cream in it. And then she requests for that sour cream to be removed. And then, lo and behold, her sushi arrives to her table and it doesn't have any sour cream in it. That's amazing, right? And now, Mariah, she feels really good. She feels happy that she didn't have to go through that embarrassing ordeal, and she gets her sushi without the sour cream in it. So yeah, that's how my app works in a user's day-to-day life. So now I'm going to show you some paper wireframes. I designed the complete experience from browsing the menu through to checkout, and let's take a look. So once I had created a bunch of different paper wireframes for what the homepage could look like, I selected the specific components that I thought were really important, that needed to be included, and the ones that I liked, and then I combined that together to create this. So I wanted to make it easy for users to search for sushi, not just browse. So the search bar is at the very top. And then below that we have different menus, so users can look through dishes, and then they can look at sushi, and then they can look at the drinks menu. So all of that is there, and it's placed in a very central location, so you can't miss it. Below that is recommended sushi, so it will be a carousel where the sushi that we think that you're gonna really like and you're gonna enjoy, that will be there. And then below that will be customize your sushi, and I wanted that to be quite prominent on the homepage because I wanted to make sure that users who have these allergens, that they're able to access this part of the app and to have power over what is in their sushi, so that was really important for me to include on the homepage. So once I was happy with my paper wireframes, I then went into Figma and I created some digital wireframes. So now that I have my digital wireframes, I can then start connecting my screens and create a prototype. So the prototype is going to really help me get much better research findings because users will be able to see the solution, interact with it, and just give you like much more constructive feedback. And you'll be able to see exactly what their pain points are and what you've missed out in your design. Once I had created a low fidelity prototype, I went back and I showed my users my design. So I did 2 rounds of usability testing. So the first thing I discovered was that there were some important functionalities that were missing. For example, the filters and the payment process. So the second finding was that users could not remove allergens from the Build Your Sushi page, and that's really important to include. So the third finding was that users couldn't specify a quantity, and they also didn't know how much the items cost. So both of these things are super important to include. So from this round of usability testing, I went in and I made these changes, and then I showed the users this new design again. So the first finding was that when you remove the allergen, there isn't a confirmation of that removal. The second finding was there wasn't a total in the top right hand corner. That's where users expect to see a run-in total, and that was missing. The third finding was that the checkout was quite a busy screen, and so it was important to make sure that it was a bit more minimalistic and that users would just focus on the task at hand without any additional extras distracting them. Now that I've done 2 rounds of usability testing and I know what users find challenging about my app, I can go in and make the design changes. So I'm going to show you my high fidelity prototype. This is the home page. So at the very top, you can select whether you want it to be a delivery, a pickup, or a dine-in experience. And then below that, you can search for the sushi or the dish that you want if you know the name of it. If you want to filter the options, you can click on the filter icon. Again, you can select your dining options, you can sort it, you can filter by price range, and then add the maximum delivery fee that you're willing to pay. And then below this is where it gets really interesting. You can actually specify your dietary requirements. For example, I might only want to see gluten-free food, or maybe I just want to see dishes that are halal. And then once I've made my selections, I can then click apply. So then that will bring up a selection of dishes that are suitable for you. So these are recommended. This is based on their past orders. And then we scroll down and we can see popular sushi. So this is what other customers are really enjoying, and we think that maybe you'll like it too. So we go down a bit further and we have the menus. So we have the sushi menu, we have noodle menus, sides, and then drinks. And here we have the Build Your Sushi widget, which will take you in where you can then select your fillings. So maybe I would want tofu, I'd click on that. And then I choose my wrapping. And let's say I would like a nori wrapping. And then I go down and I want to choose my sushi style. And maybe I like the maki style. So now, if I have an allergen, I want to remove it, right? So in this case, I want to remove gluten. So I click on that, and then a modal appears and it asks me, are you sure you want to remove gluten? I can say, oops, that was a mistake, and just cancel it and go back here. Or the other option is, yes, I do want to remove gluten. So I'm going to click yes. So here it gives me the gluten alternatives, okay? So we have 4 here that you can choose from. And I'm going to go for almond flour. So it says almond flour will be a substitute in this dish. That's amazing. So I'm not too sure. Maybe I'll go for something else. I can do that, so I can click change and it takes me back here, or I can just confirm it, and I'm going to confirm it. So then here's the sushi that I built, and it confirms my selection. So I wanted a tofu filling, nori wrapping, maki style with the almond flour substitute instead of the gluten that I cannot have. And then I'm going to click add to cart. So now I can select the dining options that I want. In this case, I want it to be a delivery, so I'll leave that there. And then I have ordered some other things before as well, so this is the rainbow roll, but we'll go into that journey later. And if you feel like you need to, you can add some more information on your dietary requirements here. But if everything looks good, which it appears to do so, let's click go to checkout. So here the checkout looks very clean, very simple to go through. So this is the address section. You can change it if it's not correct or you want it to go somewhere else. The summary tells you how much it is, and then just adding in your payment details. And then I'm going to place the order. Cool. So now the order is being prepared and it will take 40 minutes to arrive. I can track my order, but I feel good. So I'm going to go back. Okay, so now I'm going to show you another journey. This time, I'm going to buy the rainbow roll. So, the rainbow roll, it has shellfish in it, and I don't want shellfish in it because I'm allergic. So I'm going to remove the shellfish, and I'm going to show you how we can do that. So yes, I do want to remove it. I can confirm that. And here are the shellfish alternatives. So we have monkfish, salsify, surimi, tuna, cod, salmon. But I think I'm going to go for monkfish. So we click monkfish and then it says, okay, monkfish will be a substitute in this dish. Do you want to confirm it or do you want to make a change? I think I'm going to confirm it. And then there you go. It says your customized sushi and it shows me a picture so I know exactly what I'm going to get. And then it summarizes my selection. So I ordered a rainbow roll, the shellfish has been removed, and then the monkfish has been substituted. I'm really happy with that, so I'm going to click add to cart. And then this is what my cart looks like, and I'm very happy with that. I can see the price. I want to go to checkout now. So now I can see, everything looks good. I can see the total and then I can make that payment. And then I'm going to place the order now. And there you go. We have successfully ordered our sushi. Okay, so I'm going to show you some extra features that I have. So the menu navigation can be open here and that will take you to various sections. You can go straight to build your sushi from here as well. But I'm going to go back. And then I also added this cart icon here. So users can click on that and they can see exactly what is in their cart and how much everything costs at that moment. So there you go. That is my sushi app. So in terms of recommendations, it would be really good to do some usability testing on users who have accessibility requirements and also test on users who have very specific dietary requirements. As this app was designed to help users customize their sushi and remove allergens, it would be really good to see how this app performs with these users. So that's my very first mobile app design, and I really enjoyed this process, and I'm really happy to share this project with you today. So thank you so much for listening if you made it this far, and have a great day. Bye!